5 ways to handle people who don't respect you. Respect isn't a luxury. It's a basic emotional necessity. But what happens when people constantly overlook your boundaries, dismiss your voice, or treat you like you don't matter? Whether it's subtle disrespect or outright rudeness, how you respond sets the tone for your worth, not just to them but to yourself. Today, I want to talk about 5 powerful ways to handle people who don't respect you, not with anger, not with revenge, but with confidence, clarity, and unshakable self-worth. It's not about you, it's a reflection of them. One of the hardest lessons to learn in life is this: not everyone will treat you with kindness, fairness, or respect, and that often has nothing to do with you. When someone disrespects you, criticizes you unfairly, or treats you poorly, the first instinct is to internalize it. We start questioning ourselves. Did I do something wrong? Am I not good enough? But let me tell you something powerful. It's not about you, it's a reflection of them. Their words, their actions, their attitude. It's often a mirror of their own wounds, fears, and frustrations. People project what's within them. We're all walking around with our own emotional baggage. Some carry trauma, some carry insecurity, some carry resentment they've never dealt with, and guess what? That inner mess spills out. People project what's unresolved inside them onto others. If someone's rude, dismissive, or judgmental, it often means they are hurting, they feel small, or they need to feel powerful by tearing others down. You can't take that personally, because if you do, you start dimming your own light in response to someone else's darkness. Instead of asking, why are they treating me like this? Start asking, what's going on inside them that makes this behavior feel necessary? Disrespect is a window into character, not a mirror of your worth. When someone disrespects you, it reveals more about them than it ever will about you. Think about it. A secure person doesn't need to belittle others. A kind person doesn't need to shame others. A wise person doesn't argue to win. They listen to understand. So if someone consistently puts you down, ignores your boundaries, or gossips behind your back, know this: their behavior is a snapshot of their character, not a summary of yours. You can't let someone else's brokenness define your value. Don't let someone's opinion become your identity. Too often, we carry labels others gave us. You're too sensitive. You're not smart enough. You'll never make it. Those words, spoken out of someone's bitterness or fear, can echo for years if we let them. But here's the truth: just because someone says it doesn't mean it's real. You are not what they think of you. You are not the product of their projection. You are what you believe and what you build. Stop letting their opinion rent space in your mind. Evict it. Your identity should be rooted in truth, not someone else's pain. Choose understanding over internalizing. Here's a mindset shift that changes everything. When someone lashes out at you, don't absorb it. Observe it. Ask yourself, is this really about me? What pain might this person be carrying? Is this how they treat everyone or just me? When you choose understanding over internalizing, you protect your peace. You stop reacting emotionally and start responding wisely. This doesn't mean you excuse bad behavior. It means you don't let it shake your self-worth. Respond with empathy, not ego. See the pain behind the behavior, but never tolerate disrespect in the name of compassion. Their storm is not your forecast. Everyone's fighting battles you don't see. But that doesn't mean you have to stand in the rain they create. Sometimes people are cold because life hardened them. Sometimes they don't know how to love because they've never been shown love. Sometimes they're bitter because they gave up on their own dreams. But here's what you need to remember. You don't have to shrink just because someone else is lost. You don't have to match their energy. You don't have to become guarded just because they are. You don't have to carry their pain on your back. Their storm is not your forecast. You can choose sunshine. You can choose peace. You can choose you. Set firm boundaries without guilt. Let's be honest. Setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable, especially if you're someone who doesn't like conflict, who wants to be kind, or who's been taught that saying no is selfish. But here's the truth. You can be kind and have limits. You can love people and still say, "This doesn't work for me." In fact, setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's self-respect. And today, I want to remind you of something powerful. You have every right to set firm boundaries, and you should never feel guilty for protecting your peace. Boundaries teach others how to treat you. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are doors with locks to let the right people in and to keep unhealthy behavior out. If you don't define what's acceptable in your life, people will assume anything goes. They'll take your silence as permission. They'll view your constant availability as unlimited access. They'll assume your forgiveness means there are no consequences. But when you set clear, confident boundaries, you send a message. I value myself enough to protect my energy, my time, and my emotional space. You're not being rude, you're being responsible. Guilt is a sign you were taught to prioritize others over yourself. Many of us were raised to be people pleasers. We were told to be nice, to avoid conflict, to sacrifice our needs for the comfort of others. So when we finally speak up, set limits, or say no, guilt creeps in like a shadow, and we mistake that guilt for doing something wrong. But here's the truth: guilt is not always an indicator of wrongdoing. Sometimes it's just a sign of conditioning. It feels uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar, not because it's wrong. You've spent your life putting others first. Now it's time to unlearn the idea that prioritizing yourself is selfish, because it's not. It's survival, it's sanity, it's strength. Saying no is a complete sentence. You don't owe anyone long explanations, excuses, or justifications. You don't need to soften your boundary with a paragraph of apologies. No is a full sentence. I'm not available for that is enough. That doesn't work for me is plenty. You have the right to say no to overextending yourself, no to disrespect, no to obligations that drain your soul, no to relationships that only take, never give. You can say no with love, you can say no with grace, but most importantly, you can say no without guilt, because every time you say no to what drains you, you say yes to what restores you. Boundaries aren't just for others, they're for you too. Setting boundaries isn't just about changing other people's behavior. It's about training yourself to honor your needs. It's about learning to stop over-explaining. Stop rescuing people from the consequences of their actions. Stop bending your standards just to keep the peace. You don't need to tolerate discomfort to make others feel comfortable. You don't need to stay silent to avoid being called difficult. When you respect your own boundaries, you build confidence. You start trusting your voice. You start walking in alignment with your values. And that, right there, is freedom. Not everyone will like your boundaries, and that's okay. Here's something nobody tells you. The people who benefited from your lack of boundaries will be the most offended by your new ones. Some people will call you selfish, distant, or cold. Not because you're wrong, but because your growth threatens their comfort, and that's not your problem to fix. You are not responsible for other people's feelings about your boundaries. You are responsible for your peace, your mental health, your well-being, and anyone who genuinely loves you, values you, or respects you will honor your limits. People who want access to you without accountability aren't your people. So today, I want to give you permission to say no without explaining, to walk away without guilt, to choose yourself without shame. Boundaries aren't barriers. They're bridges back to your sanity, your identity, and your strength. You are not here to be drained. You are not here to be walked on. You are here to live aligned, love wisely, and guard your peace like it's sacred. Because it is. So set the boundary, hold the line, and never apologize for doing what protects your soul. Distance is power. Not every battle needs a response in a world that constantly pulls you into noise, drama, and emotional reactions. One of the most powerful things you can do is step back. Not every insult needs a clapback. Not every attack deserves a counterattack, and not every situation is worth your peace. Distance is power, and one of the highest forms of self-control is knowing when to engage and when to walk away. Today, I want to remind you, you don't need to fight every battle. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. You don't need to prove your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Silence is a strategy, not weakness. Many people mistake silence for surrender, but make no mistake, choosing not to respond is sometimes the most strategic move you can make. When you stay silent, you protect your energy. You maintain control over your emotions. You rob the other person of the reaction they're trying to provoke. Not everyone comes to you with honesty or a willingness to grow. Some people come to stir chaos, to project their pain, to test your boundaries. Your silence doesn't mean you lost. It means you've matured. It means you understand that peace is more valuable than proving a point. Distance is a form of clarity. When emotions run high, perspective gets clouded. But when you step back, mentally, emotionally, or even physically, you gain clarity. Distance gives you room to think, room to breathe, room to ask, is this really worth my energy? Is this conflict helping me grow? Or is it just draining me? Not every comment needs a comeback. Not every critic deserves your attention. Some things are simply beneath your energy level. And walking away doesn't mean defeat. It means discernment. Protect your peace like it's priceless. Your peace is a form of wealth. And like any valuable asset, it deserves protection. Every time you engage with negativity, you make an energy investment, and the return on that investment is often stress, regret, or emotional fatigue. You must become selective about who has access to your attention. If someone's presence constantly disturbs your spirit, their access should be revoked. You're not required to keep people close just because of history, guilt, or obligation. Peace is earned, not assumed, and anyone who threatens yours shouldn't be allowed to stay in your space, physically, digitally, or emotionally. Walking away is the strongest move. Sometimes we're taught to stand our ground and never back down. But sometimes walking away is the most powerful move you can make. It says, I'm not lowering myself to your level. I value my mental health more than winning this argument. You don't control how I feel, think, or respond. It takes strength to stay calm when someone else is losing control. It takes maturity to protect your inner world when someone is trying to shake it. And it takes confidence to say, this doesn't deserve me. Let them think they won, let them talk, let them create a story. Your silence will echo louder than any explanation ever could. You choose where your energy flows. At the end of the day, you are the gatekeeper of your energy. You decide who drains it. You decide what deserves it. You decide whether you react or rise above. And here's the truth. Not reacting is a superpower. Not everything needs your fire. Sometimes your calm, your distance, your indifference is the loudest answer. Some people are waiting for you to lose control so they can feel powerful. Don't give them the satisfaction. So if you're tired of fighting battles that leave you empty, if you're tired of explaining yourself to people who don't listen, if you're tired of pouring energy into things that only pull you down, then step back, not out of fear but out of wisdom, not because you're weak but because you finally understand your strength. Distance is power. Silence is strategy. Peace is the prize. And you, my friend, don't have to show up for every battle you're invited to. Sometimes the real victory is walking away with your soul intact. Stop seeking respect from the wrong people. Let's be real. One of the most exhausting things you can do in life is chase respect from people who are committed to misunderstanding you. We bend, we break, we shrink, we over-explain, all in the hope that maybe they'll finally value us. But here's the truth that will set you free. If you have to beg for respect, it's not real respect. Respect shouldn't be earned by sacrificing your dignity. You shouldn't have to prove your worth to people who are blind to it. So today, I want to speak directly to your tired soul and say this. Stop seeking respect from the wrong people. Start walking in your own. If they can't see your value, that's not your blind spot. So many people stay in situations, relationships, and circles trying to be enough. For others, they change who they are, tone themselves down, hustle for validation, but listen carefully. If someone can't see your value, that's not your problem to solve, that's their limitation. It's not your job to convince someone to treat you well. It's not your job to prove that you deserve decency, kindness, or acknowledgement. You were born worthy. You don't need to earn what should be basic human respect. Their lack of recognition doesn't lower your worth. It just reveals their inability to recognize greatness. The wrong people will always move the goalpost when you seek respect from people who are emotionally unavailable, insecure, or envious. You'll always feel like you're falling short. Why? Because their respect isn't based on your behavior, it's based on their bias. You can be kind, they'll say you're weak. You can be confident, they'll say you're arrogant. You can succeed, they'll say you got lucky. No matter what you do, it won't be enough, because they've already decided not to value you. That's why chasing their approval is a dead end. You're not in a relationship, you're in a performance, and no matter how well you perform, they still won't clap. People who truly respect you don't need convincing. Let this be your new standard. If I have to beg for it, it's not real. Real respect shows up unprovoked. Real respect doesn't require reminders. It's felt, it's shown, and it's mutual. People who genuinely respect you listen when you speak, honor your boundaries, value your presence, not just your usefulness. Celebrate your growth without envy. They don't diminish you to feel powerful. They don't withhold respect to control you. They don't love you conditionally. The wrong people will make you feel like you're too much. The right ones will remind you you're just enough. Self-respect ends the cycle, so how do you break free from this trap of seeking approval? It starts with self-respect. When you truly respect yourself, you stop explaining yourself to people who don't listen. You stop trying to fix their opinion of you. You stop chasing closure or understanding from people who aren't emotionally mature. You start realizing their respect is not the prize. My peace is. Self-respect sounds like I'm no longer available for disrespect. I don't need your validation to know my value. I release the need to be liked by those who don't even like themselves. The day you stop seeking it from them is the day you start walking in it for yourself. Let them go and let your standards rise. Stop watering dead plants. Stop knocking on locked doors. Stop trying to speak truth into ears that refuse to hear. When you let go of people who withhold respect, you make room for people who freely give it. When you raise your standard, you shift your circle. And when you stop trying to be chosen by the wrong people, you finally choose yourself. The respect you're looking for isn't out there. It begins the moment you decide you don't need to chase it. So here's your reminder. You don't need to shrink to fit into their version of worthy. You don't need to lose yourself to gain their approval. You don't need to prove your worth to people who don't even know their own. Respect yourself enough to stop seeking it from the wrong people, because when you truly know your worth, you don't demand it, you embody it. Stay elevated, never let disrespect diminish your character. There will be moments in life when people will test your peace. They will disrespect you, mock you, underestimate you, or try to provoke you. And in those moments, you'll be tempted to react, loudly, emotionally, maybe even destructively. But here's the truth. The real power is not in how you react, but in how you rise. To stay elevated means you don't allow other people's behavior to lower your standard. To stay elevated means you refuse to let disrespect drag you out of alignment with who you truly are. Disrespect is loud. Dignity is louder, and today I want to remind you, never let someone's ignorance, ego, or cruelty pull you out of your character. Their behavior is a reflection of them, not you. When someone disrespects you, it's easy to take it personally. But often their behavior isn't about you, it's about their pain, their ego, or their immaturity. People project what they carry. Insecure people belittle others to feel powerful. Bitter people attack those who still have hope. Lost people try to tear down those who are found. You don't need to mirror their energy to prove anything. When they go low, your strength is shown in your ability to stay high. Let them reveal their character while you protect yours. Don't trade your peace for their chaos. You will never win by fighting fire with fire. You might feel temporarily satisfied by clapping back, getting revenge, or proving your point, but at what cost? Your peace is priceless. Don't hand it over to someone who thrives on dysfunction. Don't lose sleep over someone who isn't even aware of the damage they cause. Disrespect is often bait. They want you angry. They want you defensive. They want you on their level, but when you remain calm, when you remain unmoved, when you remain rooted in your values, you disarm them. Distance, detachment, dignity, these are your weapons now. Let your response be your strength. You don't have to yell to be heard. You don't have to fight to win. And you don't have to explain yourself to someone who's already decided not to understand you. Respond, don't react. And sometimes the strongest response is no response at all. You don't need to defend your worth to anyone. You don't need to justify your boundaries. You don't need to entertain people who are committed to disrespecting you. Let your self-control speak volumes. Let your restraint remind them that you don't play small games. Because when you carry yourself with grace in the face of disrespect, you elevate the entire situation, and you walk away with your power intact. Revenge is easy. Self-control is mastery. Anyone can strike back. Anyone can insult back. Anyone can stoop low. But not everyone has the emotional maturity to remain grounded when tested. And that's where greatness lies, in the discipline to rise above. When you stay elevated, you don't burn bridges you might one day walk across. You don't give anyone the satisfaction of seeing you out of control. You protect your legacy, your name, your integrity. Don't let a moment of anger become a lifetime of regret. Your future is too big to be shaken by someone so small. You are the standard. Act like it when you know who you are. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You move with quiet confidence. You speak with clarity. You walk in rooms with presence, not arrogance. Stay elevated because that's where you belong. Not because you think you're better than anyone, but because you refuse to be dragged down by pettiness. Hold your head high when others go low. Protect your peace when others spread chaos. Choose maturity when others choose malice. And remember, class never goes out of style. So the next time someone disrespects you, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, do I want to win the moment? Or protect my peace? You are not here to argue with people beneath your frequency. You are not here to prove your worth to those who don't recognize it. You are here to lead, to rise, to grow. Stay elevated. Let them fall if they must, but you rise always.